Hello and welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you are doing good. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic. It is based on India and USA's relationship. We are going to go through Katsa. We will understand what it is all about. We are going to understand Chabahar port, why USA is supporting us, or why USA is not creating hindrances as far as this Chabahar port is concerned, and there are some other things, like geopolitical things about USA's relationship with Iran, with Russia, with Pakistan, and there are so many things. But before that, I would like to inform all of you that at present, a flat 50% off is available on our pen drive and Android courses. This is going to last till 12th December, so make the most out of it. Visit StudyIQ.com if you want to know more about it. With this, dear friends, the flag that you can see on your screen is a flag of this country called Iran. We will start our discussion with Iran because we are going to talk about Chabahar, we are going to talk about Katsa and other things. Now, as you can see on your screen, right, this is Iran, and Iran is part of our extended neighborhood. As you can see here, it is not a direct neighbor of our country, but it is part of this extended neighborhood. Now, the thing is, let me throw some light first on Afghanistan. As you can see here, Afghanistan is a landlocked country. Now, USA, or its presence in Afghanistan, is their active presence, is there since 9/11. And before that as well, USA was directly, indirectly involved in Afghanistan because of this Cold War that was going on between USA and USSR. Back in late 70s and early 80s, USSR was here in Afghanistan. It was basically expanding its reach or territories, and at that point of time, USA was stopping USSR to take complete control of Afghanistan. And so for that, USA supplied money, technology, and other things to Afghanistan, or it injected all these things it handed over this, weapons and other things to people of Afghanistan, those rebels who were against this invasion of Afghanistan by USSR. Now, Pakistan and USA, they share a very unique relationship with each other. After UK, right, if we go through, means when I say after UK, I'm talking about USA and UK's relationship. It is considered one of the oldest, USA's oldest friend, one of the oldest friend is UK. And after that, we find that after UK, there are a few countries, and one of them is Pakistan, isn't it? It's quite, I'm sure many of you are surprised, but yes, USA and Pakistan, they have one of the oldest relationship that they share with each other. Now, the thing is, if you observe the location here, then this portion here, Turkmenistan, this Central Asian portion is, you can say, inclined towards Russia. For them, Russia is the most important country, of course. So they will never allow USA to use its, you can say, territory. And apart from that, it becomes a bit difficult as well. When Russia is not that far, means just imagine that if you want to enter, or if you want to counter USSR, and if you are going, means at that point of time, when we are talking about late 70s and early 80s, this portion was part of this USSR. Now, Iran and USA, there was an Iranian revolution back in 1979, and after that, Iran and USA's relationship are at its, I would say, at rock bottom. They share arch rivalry, right? They are enemy of each other when we talk about Iran and USA. So there is no option left with USA. If USA wants to enter Afghanistan, then the only option is Pakistan, right? So naturally, you have to supply things via sea route, and then from here via roadways you can enter into Afghanistan. So This makes Pakistan one of the most important leader or one of the most important player as far as this Afghanistan policy of USA is concerned. And USA means Pakistan has exploited USA as well because of its, it's, I would say, lucky enough to have this sort of geopolitical or geographical location. So it has used this thing as optimally as possible. Now we have India, right? India and Afghanistan's relationship are outstanding. We have supported Afghanistan, forever. We are with Afghanistan. A couple of days ago, we were talking about this Afghan-led and Afghan will decide its policy, its peace policy. We were talking about this Taliban meeting, and it was a very unique meeting for India as well. So you can imagine how important Afghanistan is for India and the things that we are doing for them, right? And it's not that we are doing any favor. It's part of this big game. It's part of this geopolitics, and we have a sort of cultural tie as well. So it's not more selfish relationship. It's based on mutual respect and things like that. So we have helped them with their parliament building, right? We have constructed this parliament building of Afghanistan. We have constructed this India-Afghan Friendship Dam, also known as Salma Dam. We are training their soldiers. We are training their police people. We are training their teachers, doctors. We are, providing medical services, and so many other things are being provided by us to Afghanistan. And this is something that USA is also well aware about. Now, in 2017, Mr. Trump came out with a new policy on South Asia, which includes Afghanistan as well. So in this policy at that point of time, Mr. Trump also, tried to persuade us that we should provide some sort of military support in Afghanistan, but we said that we are not ready for it. What we can do is we can provide developmental support, and this is something that is appreciated by USA as well as people of Afghanistan too. Now, naturally, right, it is quite logical we can say that Pakistan will never allow us to use its roadways to get in touch with Afghanistan. So we have to use some other alternative way, and the best way or the best route that we have is from Mumbai or from any other part of our country. We can reach to this port, that is Chabahar, that is part of this, Iran. And India has developed this Chabahar port, so we can use these roadways. Beg your pardon, waterways till Chabahar, from here roadways and railways, mix of both, and then we can reach Afghanistan and we can provide all those supplies and other things. So when Nikki Haley, when she was here in our country a few weeks ago, at that point of time, she said that USA understands the importance of Chabahar, and for USA, Chabahar is important. Of course, USA cannot directly involve itself with Chabahar, but whatever India is doing via Chabahar is important, and at least it is taken into consideration by USA. So I hope you have a good understanding about this region now. Now the thing is, USA passed a law this year called CAATSA, that is Countering America's Adversaries through Sanctions Act. So applying sanctions on America's adversaries, or countering America's adversaries through Sanctions Act. So how it works is, at present USA has officially three enemies. One is Iran, of course. A second one, and I guess it's Russia, and the third one, of course, is North Korea. So if any country is dealing with these three countries, doing business and developing relationship and other things, then USA will apply sanction on that friendly country as well. And India is also a country that will become part of CAATSA. It's quite strange that this law was passed by USA and it was not passed by United Nations. So it's not a law that is applicable on the whole world, but then as well, USA is at present a very big country and superpower. When I say big, I'm not talking about geographical region. Of course, geographically as well, it is quite big country. It's a huge country, but it's a superpower. It has been a superpower, for a very long period of time now. So they are, I would say, throwing around their weight. That's what we can say, based on this CAATSA. Now, India with 7 other countries. So total 8 countries, they have got this waiver from CAATSA by Mr. Trump for next 6 months now. And this waiver is important for India for 2 reasons, right? The first one is Chabahar Port, of course, right? We have invested heavily in Chabahar Port, and it's a very important port for India too, for international north-south trade corridor as well. And the second one is import of Iranian oil. Energy security is one of the most important thing for our country. And U.S. State Department has also said that Afghanistan gateway to Afghanistan is this Chabahar, and in future USA would like to reduce its dependence on Karachi, that is in Pakistan, to access Afghanistan. So this is a positive signal coming from USA. Now, surprising fact is that USA is silent on this S-400 Triumph missile defense system that we have agreed to purchase from Russia. Now, Russia is, they can apply CAATSA on us because this is a big red flag for USA, but we have said that we will never use this weapon, this S-400 Triumph. You know that we are never going to use a Triumph. We are never going to use this S-400 Triumph missile defense system against you, so you don't have to worry about it. The second thing that we have said is that we have this old age relationship with Russia, and we are independent, and we are strategically independent country, we are sovereign nation, all these things we have said already. But it's quite strange that USA has not thrown its weight on us. In fact, it has given us 6 months waiver. So what is one of the main reason behind it? We will try to address this question as well. Now, Mr. Trump has said that let's wait and watch. So basically there is a hanging, you can say, a sanctions sword above India's head. And back in December 2017, as per National Security Strategy, USA said that India is a very important player as far as the South Asian region is concerned, or Indian continent is concerned. So we also said this thing that if we don't have this sort of latest weaponries, then how we can, we can make ourselves a bit more strong. So that's the thing, that this is something that USA has accepted, but again, it's a bit difficult to digest. September 2018, USA and India had this 2+2 dialogue. This was a very unique dialogue, a unique format where you have External Affairs Minister and Defense Minister from our side. They had a meeting interaction with Defense Minister and External Affairs Minister from USA side, and together we talked about this SISMOA and this COMCASA talks were going on for a very long period of time. So SISMOA is Communications Interoperability and Security Memorandum of Agreement. And for us, this was not a good thing, because as per this SISMOA, what happens is, when we purchase, say for example, helicopters from USA, then of course we have to communicate with that helicopter. You have GPS, where the location is. You have this minutes of discussions that is taking place, or this chat that is going on between the pilot as well as this air traffic controller, then missions and other things executed by this particular helicopter. So as per this SISMOA, we have to share the details of this thing, and not just with this helicopters that we have purchased from USA. Even if we have purchased a helicopter from Russia, we have to share this details, this minutes, right, with USA as per this SISMOA. So we were not at all happy with this thing. So what we have done is we have, you can say, given a new name as well as a new shape to this SISMOA. We have made it a bit more practical. It's a Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement now. It's known as COMCASA. And as per COMCASA, we will share details, but only of those items that we have purchased from USA. So that's a bit practical and bit, you can say, win-win for both the countries. And you'll be saying that why we have to share anything with them. If we buy something from them, and there are a few things, like say for example, they have some planes and helicopters or some other things, that if we don't share these things, right, then we cannot optimally utilize that thing. There are so many features in that helicopter. It's basically, I'll give you a small example, this will make some sense. It's like I will give you, a latest smartphone, but this internet and Wi-Fi will be locked. So that's not going to help, isn't it? So it's something like that. So Komkasa is a more practical version. It's more acceptable thing, and we have accepted this thing from both sides. So now the basic question is, you have this Komkasa, and back in 2008, India signed up for more than $15 billion worth of arms deal with USA. We are going to buy this Globemaster, then planes and helicopters and Harpoon missiles and Apache and Chinook and other things as well. We are going to get some Sea Guardian drones from USA. There are a few companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing are ready to do some arms deal with country like India, because we are looking for 110 fighters and 57 multi-role carrier-borne fighters, 234 naval utility and multi-role helicopters. So that's a big order. It can create so many jobs in USA. It can, it's a big deal, or it's a big country. India is a big market. So naturally, no country would like to annoy a big customer like India. So this looks like one of the most basic reason why Mr. Trump has decided that there should be this sanction, and why he's not using this Twitter. Mostly what we find is that whenever he's angry, he has his own way of dealing with things. So he goes on to Twitter and tweets about things, but he has not. So that's a good thing. Now, this special topic is over. I'm sure we have learned so many things. We have discussed so many things about India-USA relationship. Now we are going to talk about India and Australia's relationship. Our president is in Australia. In fact, he was in Australia. And here you can see map of Australia. You have this country, continent, and you have Western Australia here, Northern Territory, Southern Australia, New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, and Tasmania. These are states of or provinces of Australia. Capital is Canberra. Most of its big cities are on this side, Pacific coast. Then you have some in here as well, like Melbourne is there, Adelaide is here, Perth and Darwin are other big cities. Capital, as I told you, Canberra. And you can see one interesting thing, that this Tropic of Capricorn is passing through Australia. So this is a continent that is completely in Southern Hemisphere. Now our president was there, and we have talked about this two pillars. Knowledge partnership is based on two pillars. One is education cooperation, and the other is scientific collaboration. Australia is second most preferred destination for our students, and 85,000 students are studying there in Australia. India Strategic Research Fund is Australia's biggest investment in research collaboration with any single country. Melbourne and Victoria provided ample opportunities for Indian diaspora. A leader of opposition had a meeting with our president, and they talked about International Solar Alliance. They talked about investment and other good things. Ministry of Culture has got a good news for us, that we are going to celebrate 100 years of Jallianwala Bagh massacre next year. That is in 2019, 13th April to be precise, 2019. And this celebration, or this remembrance, right, this historical, I would say, when I say celebration, I'm not talking about celebration of deaths. Of course, you can understand. I'm talking about celebration of sacrifices, those brave people who were there. And of course, they were butchered by, and they were, killed by this person called General Dyer. This is a very famous incident in the history of our country. And it is very important that we should, remember, particularly young generation should be aware about these sacrifices made in freedom struggle by various different people of our country. And when you go through and when you understand this thing, it will give you a sense of secularism. It will give you a sense of this unity that, you find people from all walks of lives, poor, rich, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, South Indians, North Indians, whatever these divisions that we see in today's world, or in today's India, right? All these divisions were not there, right? And each and every race, each and every Indian from various different regions, they have played a very important direct as well as an indirect role in our freedom struggle. So that's a very unique thing about our country, and Jallianwala Bagh is of course a very important. So next year, that is 2019, is going to be its 100 years of remembrance, and we are going to basically conduct some functions so that we can remember those brave people. Prime Minister's office has got a good news for us, and this is indeed a good news for the whole nation, particularly women out there, and not only women, of course, for men lot as well, because this is for the 6th time Mary Kom has won gold medal in Women's World Boxing Championship. That's amazing thing, because if you look at her track record, right, you'll find that after a very long period of time, after such a big gap, she has achieved this the 6th gold, and it's not a small thing. No one so far, right, has got 6 gold medals in World Boxing Championship. She is also, called as a sportsman of, sports person, not sportsman, but sports person of the century, or a legend, basically, right? She is, of course, after our independence, she is a legend. Of course, there are other players as well, like Sachin Tendulkar is a very, very famous player. But if you look at the achievements and career span of this, Mary Kom, then it's outstanding. Cricket and boxing, they are together different sports, as we know. Boxing, the biggest opponent in boxing is your age, right? As you age, you become a bit slow when you are competing with someone who is 20, 21, and when you are somewhere around 35, then, naturally, the younger player is going to be a bit more agile, a bit more, strong, and then you have some injuries as well. If you are 35 or something, and if you are practicing, if you are professional boxers, then you have had your injuries, so all these things, and between all these things, if you are getting 6th gold medal, then that's a very inspiring thing. MEA, that is Ministry of External Affairs, has expressed, or India has expressed, we have lodged a strong protest today with Pakistan against harassment of Indian High Commission officials in Islamabad, and they are denied this access to, to access this Gurudwara. Yesterday we were talking about this corridor, and today we find this misbehavior from Pakistan. So that's not a good news. First of all, let's celebrate, and let me wish all of you a very happy Guru Nanak Jayanti, and may Lord bless us all. Today is 549th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Ji, and next year we are going to celebrate, the country is going to celebrate 550th birth anniversary of the first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Ministry of External Affairs has got one more news item for us, and India and China have agreed to maintain peace and tranquility in the border areas of our region. The thing is, our NSA, that is Ajit Doval sir, is also a special representative when it comes to dealing with China, and on their side they have this state councillor as well as Chinese foreign minister Wang Yi, and both of them, they had met each other many a times, and this meeting, they met with each other, and this meeting was 21st round of special representatives talk. External Affairs Ministry in a release said that India-China closer development partnership is something that is trying to, means both the nations are trying to flourish this close development partnership, and things have changed, of course, for good, when we talk about after we observe the relationship between both these nations after this Wuhan's informal meeting that took place between Mr. Xi and Mr. Modi ji. And this is your picture. This is, as you can see here, this area is handed over by Pakistan to China. This portion is Aksai Chin portion that is under China's control after the war. And then you have some disputed borders, and then you have this area, this Arunachal Pradesh is claimed by China, but of course it is part of our nation. And here you have very famous line called McMahon line of disputed borders. So remember all these things. Last item of the day is that Maldivian Foreign Minister Abdullah Shahid is here, in our country for 4 days. And last time we were talking about Prime Minister's visit to Maldives. We have talked about Maldives and India's relationship. So that's a good thing, that first high-level visit from Malays or Maldives foreign minister, and his destination is India. So it again indicates that we are going to take our relationship to a new level, and things are going to improve between both these nations. The visiting dignitary will also call on President Ramnath Kovindji, and on Monday Mr. Shahid and Sushma Swaraj will hold extensive talks on issues of mutual interest. We will talk about China, we'll talk about terrorism, radicalization, we'll talk about climate change, and there are so many other topics: trade, bilateral trade, political relationship with each other, and other things, maybe military exercise and other things. So that's everything in today's discussion. That's my FB page, that's my Twitter handle. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from these two places. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. If you have genuinely enjoyed, if you have genuinely learned something, then please make sure that you share this lecture, and don't forget to hit the like button too. God bless you all. Jai Hind.